Hi! Welcome back to my channel. Today, we'll be discussing My Delicious Dream Boy by Xiyuer. Now, before we get started, there will be spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiling this manhwa, go ahead and click off now. No worries, I'll catch you next time. Now, for those of you left behind, let's go over some content warnings. There may be references to manipulation, violence, chronic health issues, blood, death, the occult, religion, stalking, assault, drink spiking, mentions of homomesia, peer pressure, murder, prejudice, religious persecution, hospitalization, kidnapping, confinement, and racism, as these things do appear in the manhwa. Now, if that's all good with you, let's go ahead and get started. As always, let's start with synopsis. Joel Lin has had a lonely life. His family did their best to keep him happy and occupied, but nothing could replace the fun of school and public places. Unfortunately, Joel has suffered from an undiagnosable chronic illness that weakened him to the point he had to be homeschooled and kept out of any excitable public places at the risk of his life. He was nearly at the end of his rope when he and his mother visited a purveyor of magic called the Goddess, who gave Joel a talisman to keep in his home and a charm to carry on him that successfully staves off most of his dire symptoms. Still, the nightmares he's been subjected to every night persist. Being healthier now than he's ever been leads to the first time in his life that he can physically attend school for his first year in college. There he meets a popular pink-haired man named Mara, who latches onto Joel immediately and solidifies himself as Joel's first friend outside his family. Incidentally, his new best friend is very similar to the main villain in his nightmares. A pink-haired monster with wings, horns, and tentacles who captures and threatens him until he wakes up. This has to be just a coincidence though, right? Mara though has an ulterior motive for befriending Joel. As it turns out, Mara is a dream demon, a supernatural creature that feeds on human dreams. The most delicious of dreams are nightmares, and with his powers he can determine how healthy his targets are and how likely they are to have nightmares. As it turns out, Joel has a 100% chance of having a nightmare every single night, and Mara is determined to have this delectable feast. But no matter how hard he tries, he can't seem to taste Joel's dreams, and he has no idea why. But the more he tries, the closer he gets to Joel, and soon he wants to taste much more than Joel's dreams. It's worth mentioning before we dive in that there are two versions of this manhwa. There's a fully censored version, and in terms of manhwa, that includes censored kissing, and there's an uncensored version, and that's in terms of manhwa, which means kisses are shown. However, in this case, we do get some additional spice to at least a softcore level. I also know the names are different between the versions, with the uncensored tapas version changing to westernized versions of the names, such as Lin Yu, which is Joel Lin, Yi Kui, which is Mara Yi, while the censored version kept the original names. The version I read was the uncensored tapas version, and that's what my review is based on. I can't speak to the other version's quality or content except for what I've found in listings and notes. I will always read the more explicit mature version when available legally, though I hate that this particular version westernized the names. Oh well, I'll always take more spice. With all that out of the way, let me just go ahead and come clean. This is one of my favorite manhwa artists of all time. Saying that, know that I am extremely biased. It's just such a unique style, but still so clean. It's impossible not to love. I've read one other thing to completion with this particular artist, which is Modern Wizard Hunting Project, which I'll link above. Then I read this, and I'm currently reading another work that's ongoing. If that doesn't say on how much I love the style, I don't know what will. The chibis are to die for, and you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you miss out on them. I also want to mention that while the artist wasn't the writer of Modern Wizard Hunting Project, the characters from that series do appear in this. They're just background characters or references, so you don't have to read Modern Wizard Hunting Project to understand this one. Still, it's such a fun experience to read this and see references to their other work. It feels like it all takes place in the same universe. Mara and Joel also appear in the background of the other work that I'm currently reading, and I love this universe that's been crafted across all of these works. With manhwa, other than the obligatory kiss censoring and additional similar over-the-top censoring, everything I've read thus far really is good about the characters being able to be open and accepted as a gay couple, which is actually much rarer in other types of comics such as manga and manhwa specifically. This comic is no exception. I love seeing Mara so willing to hug and kiss Joel publicly, especially with their friends and family readily accepting it. This is already very fluffy thanks to our precious being Joel, who is exploring the world with his expressionless excitement. Add on top of that they can be a public couple, and we get all of the fluff. I highly recommend reading the tapas version since the kisses aren't censored, and there are many softcore sexy scenes, which just makes us all chef's kiss. My favorite part of this entire story has to be the special at the end. It seems like a historical alternate universe at first, with Mara being a cursing demon and Joel being a human, not so unlike their modern day universe counterparts. However, as revealed later, rather than this being an entirely alternate universe, it's actually the past. Joel is cursed to die repeatedly in every reincarnated life, with Mara forced to watch or stay away from Joel entirely. Unwilling to watch his love die or separate himself from him anymore, Mara gives up his immortal life to save Joel, with hopes to be reincarnated sometime in the future and finally have a fulfilling life with his human lover. It has a painfully sad ending, very refreshing in my opinion, and makes the main story worth rereading now that we know the historical backstory of this fated relationship. It's so sad, but it really builds out the world and its supernatural mythos. I think the series is worth reading just for that. With all that being said, this is thus far my favorite BL manhwa. Its art style is precious and clean, and it has so much more spice than most of the other BLs I've read within this medium, that is, which is very much appreciated, and the narrative is well crafted. It's very fluffy despite the content warnings. It really doesn't get super dark until the side story at the very end, but it just isn't complete without it. I highly recommend this one for anyone who wants to try out BL manhwa, as it's a great representation of the genre and medium. So, have you read My Delicious Dream Boy? If so, what do you think? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you not? Let me know and comment below. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Bye!